Can you see it?
Yep, I got it.
Okay. So this is our dura mater.
Okay.
The portion of the dura mater that extends between your cerebellum and your cerebral cortex is going to be your tentorium down in here. The portion of the dura mater that extends between the two cerebral hemispheres is going to be your falx cerebri, sorry. This is your sagittal or superior sagittal venous sinus. You're going to have pia mater covering the brain, which you can see on these. And then you have your arachnoid in here with your subarachnoid space, as well as the cerebrospinal fluid. This is your cerebellomedullary cistern. Here we have our epithalamus, and then we're going to have the telechoroidea within here, which is just a thin membrane on the roof of the diencephalon. The choroid plexus is going to be suspended in here, which is just the vasculature. You can see that right here. This is your pineal body or gland. Right here we have our habenular commissure, and up here is our habenula. Hypothalamus is going to be down in this region. Our optic chiasm is right here. Our pituitary gland, you can see if the dura mater is still attached, which is right here. It's attached by your infundibulum, and you can also see that on the whole brain right here. This is your infundibulum. The tissue surrounding the infundibulum is your tuber cinereum. Your mammillary bodies are going to be located right here, or on these you can see them right here. Our thalamus is right there. The tectum is going to be in between the cerebrum and the cerebellum, so right in here. We're going to have some structures in here that are the corpora quadrigemina, and those include your superior colliculi and your inferior colliculi. We also have the cerebral peduncles, which are these structures right here. In between the cerebral peduncles are the interpeduncular fossa. We can see our posterior perforated substance and our anterior perforated substance. This is our cerebellum, or back here. The folds on it are the folia, and this white matter area is the arbor vitae. We have our vermis, and then our two cerebellar hemispheres. This is the paraflocculonodular lobe. The anterior portion of it, if we look, we can see our brachium pontus. In this area, we're going to have our restiform body and our brachium conjunctivum. There's also going to be transverse fibers of the pons within there. You can also see the superior and inferior colliculi here. This is our pons. It's kind of this extension right here. This one has a really good pons as well. On the whole brain, this area right here is your pons, and your abducens nerves will be leaving there. Your medulla oblongata is this area behind the pons. The fourth ventricle is right in here, and then there's the rostral medullary velum, which is just some fibers in this area. We're not really going to be able to see them. Our area acoustica can be seen right here. Our dorsal median sulcus is running right here. We're going to have a dorsal intermediate sulcus and a dorsal lateral sulcus. In between the dorsal medial sulcus and the dorsal intermediate sulcus, we're going to have tracts of the fasciculus gracilis running, and in between the intermediate and lateral will be the fasciculus cuneatus. There's going to be tubercles associated with the gracil and cuneatus up here as well. We also have our trapezoid bodies, which are right behind the pons, and then our ventral median fissure, which alongside that runs the pyramids or the pyramidal tracts. Now we're going to go on to the sagittal section of the brain. This area up here is our corpus callosum. We have our genu of the corpus callosum, our body or trunk of the corpus callosum, and our splenium of the corpus callosum. The septum right here, which you can barely see, is called the septum pellucidum. We have the body of our fornix, which is just below the corpus callosum. The column of the fornix are going to run down. You can see them extending. We have our anterior commissure, which is right here. It's a band of transverse fibers that are going to run through the brain. The lamina terminalis is what attaches the optic chiasm. You can actually see the little piece of tissue better right here. Okay, this is our third ventricle. Ventricles are lined by the ependymal epithelium. This area right here is our interventricular foramen. Here we once again have our pineal gland, the habenular commissure, habenula, and right here there's another band of transverse fibers called the posterior commissure, and you can see it's also round, like the anterior commissure, which is right here. Okay, the postcommissural fornix is going to, it's a tract from the fornix. It's going to run from the fornix down into the mammillary bodies. It's really hard to see on these. You can see it a little bit better on this one, how it runs down here to where the mammillary bodies would be. Okay, then we also have our precommissural fornix, which is going to be running into this area, which is the septal region. So it's going to come down from the fornix into the septal region, and that was the precommissural fornix. Our cerebral aqueduct is going to be right here. We have our gray matter and then white matter.
Is that everything?
That's everything.